Today's story is of a familiar tale we see in India. A comedian slash influencer makes controversial comments, the internet is outraged, and that online outrage leads to some or the other offended party lodging a police complaint saying that they're offended. FIRs are lodged, police begins probing the matter swiftly, politicians weigh in, condemn the comments, then a section of the media hounds the influencer in question, and then the long legal process begins. This week it was influencer Ranveer Allahbadia and comedian Samay Raina's turn. Allahbadia is a known name for asking rather bizarre questions on his podcasts and often accused of allowing guests to make unsubstantiated claims. He has millions of followers, by the way. His podcasts guests include top ministers in the Modi government, including Dr. S. Jaishankar, Piyush Goyal and Smriti Irani. In 2024, he was awarded by Prime Minister Modi for the Disruptor of the Year prize at the first edition of the National Creators Award. So Allahbadia went on Raina's show, which has roasting as part of its format, and ended up making some comments which did not go down well with a lot of people. The cycle of police probe, legal trouble I just told you about is already underway. The outrage is mounting so much so that it has become a talking point in India's parliament. Calls for boycotting and banning Allahbadia and his channel and whatnot. Everything has transpired in the last 5-6 days. Now it has got to a point where people have started wondering, is this controversy being blown out of proportion? And are we actually forgetting the real issues that need our attention? Hello and welcome to Simply Put. I am Shubham Chohan. Let's get started. So just a quick recap for those who may have not followed this story. Influencer Ranveer Allahbadia, or BeerBiceps as he's called, was part of a panel on comedian Samay Raina's show India's Got Latent. This is a YouTube show where some of its episodes are behind the paywall and the access for which starts at about 50-60 rupees. Now the show is where people come, show their talent, and then the panel and the contestants roast each other. By some estimates, an average video of India's Got Latent gets about 20 million views on YouTube. Now this panel in question had comedian Ashish, Chanchlani, Jaspreet Singh, Samay Raina, influencer Apoorva, Makhija and Ranveer Allahbadia. During the show, Allahbadia made a really crass comment involving voyeurism and incest. This was picked up, that chunk from this episode was picked up and circulated on social media, and outrage began. Many called out Allahbadia for his filthy, insensitive and outright unfunny joke. Many even defended him, saying it's just part of the show's format and that everyone who has been on the show makes such jokes. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis said that freedom of speech does come with restrictions and hinted at some action against the creators. Following the outrage, Ranveer Allahbadia put out a video apologizing for his comments. He said comedy was not his forte and that he should not have made these comments. After that, Samay Raina put up a story on Instagram saying that he has pulled down all episodes of India's Got Latent and that his only intention was to make people laugh. Now one would think that this controversy would eventually die down and pass because the episodes have been taken down and the person in question has said sorry. But not to be. An FIR was registered in Mumbai against Allahbadia and the creators of the show. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma even tweeted that an FIR was filed in Guwahati against the entire panel in that particular episode. In the last few days, we have seen the Assam police come to Raina's residence to serve summons, and the comedian is believed to be in the United States. Some reports quoting Mumbai police sources say that Allahbadia and his lawyers are not reachable at the moment. Meanwhile, Ashish, Chanchlani and Makhija, the other creator that was part of the panel, have recorded their statements with the police. Members of Parliament, including Shiv Sena's Naresh Maske and Shiv Sena UBT's Priyanka Chaturvedi, called for stricter laws and called for setting boundaries for the kind of language being used in the name of comedy, that is passing in the name of comedy. So that is effectively what happened in the last few days. And this controversy that we are seeing playing out is not the first time. Several comedians, including Kunal Kamra, Veer Das and Munawar Farooqi, and even the comedy collective AIB has come under the scanner for their content and style of comedy. Farooqi was even jailed a couple of years back following ruckus in his show in Indore. He was subsequently released on bail after spending about a month or so behind bars. Now let's look at what the law says when it comes to such matters. These creators of India's Got Latent, that panel, have been charged for obscene acts under Section 296 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Now, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita criminalizes the creation and sale of obscene materials, including electronic content. Obscenity is defined as per this law as mischievous or appeals to the prurient interest and content that is overtly and excessively sexual or that has the potential to deprave and corrupt those who consume it. So pretty vague if you look at the wordings of this law. But let's look at the other aspect to this, and that's very important, That is Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. It grants us the freedom of speech with reasonable restrictions. Now, in no way do we endorse or support Ranveer Allahbadia's disgusting remarks on the show, but by going after him, especially after the apology, does raise questions on whether one is infringing on his right to free speech and say what he wants, even if it's something as bad as the comments that he made on India's Got Latent. The Supreme Court of India in the past has repeatedly emphasized the need to uphold right to free speech and expression and drawing a thin line between obscenity and just crass language. In March 2024, the Apex Court quashed proceedings against the creators of web series College Romance. It was argued that the characters on the show used vulgar language and that the series and its characters talked and engaged in sexual activities. The court, however, held that there was a fine line between obscenity and language which is quote-unquote foul, indecent and profane. A bench of Justices A.S. Bopanna and P.S. Narasimha said, obscenity relates to material that arouses sexual and lustful thoughts, which is not at all the effect of the abusive language or profanities that have been employed in the episode. So that was one case that happened in the Supreme Court in recent years. We'll have to see how the court looks at Allahbadia's matter specifically. But this entire story does get you thinking. This controversy that has played out in the last few days does get you thinking. Where is this outrage, this kind of outrage when it comes to more serious matters than just a crass comments made in a comedy show? Say when a politician makes hate speeches openly and belittles minorities of the country, or when a woman is raped in any part of the country. Two things are missing in such cases. First, adequate outrage that drives change, and second, the alacrity, the speed with which probe agencies work. Like just how fast authorities are to go to these creators' home, give summons, file FIRs, and follow the law. But the same enthusiasm isn't quite there when it comes to taking action against, say, a politician who has said something outrageous and wrong. And lastly, there's this question of outrage itself. The argument being, if comedians cater to each person's morality and values and what they think is right and follow what they think is right, where is the space for comedy? Where is the space to make jokes? Whose morality do they cater to? That is the bigger question that is always raised when it comes to defending free speech, and particularly comedians whose job is to make jokes and people laugh. In fact, here's an excerpt from an opinion piece Anurag Verma wrote for News Laundry, where he's made a very pertinent and a very important point. Samay, along with BeerBiceps, found himself in the middle of a cultural purge. The lesson was unfolding in real time. Morality is not just about political correctness, but about knowing which topics to avoid. In fact, this is the nature of morality. The definition itself changes very quickly. Anything can be immoral at any given moment. Your pass card can be revoked if a group of people decides that what you are doing is immoral. That's all we have for this episode of Simply Put. Do like and share this video, comment and let us know what your views are on this matter, and of course, subscribe to HW News English on YouTube for more such videos. Thanks for watching.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.